when you've been so conditioned into putting everyone else first, it's actually challenging to live the other way around, putting yourself first, because there are so many beliefs that you're raised with, that you're conditioned by. And stepping outside of that is almost like abandoning a part of yourself, even though it's not, because you need to put yourself first. You need to truly put yourself first, um, to truly live the best life that you can for yourself. And it's interesting because it's kind of like, there's this term hypervigilance, right? And that is, um, somebody who is raised where there's chaos, there's unpredictability, in your environment. You you become conditioned into being hyper vigilant, right? So that's kind of like you're always alert, right? That's kind of like walking on eggshells and everything. You're afraid to, like, not disappoint, right? You're afraid that you're always doing something wrong. And so, like, coming out of that is really challenging because it's like you're always looking for who you can serve when the person that you need to serve is yourself. And so you've also been conditioned, likely, to believe that you are inherently defective. So putting yourself first almost doesn't make sense because it goes against the entire narrative that you grew up with. And that in and of itself is very challenging. And that's what I'm sitting with now. Like, I'm doing the best that I can to put myself first and to, like, really, like, just approach myself on a daily basis from that standpoint and everything. And it can be very challenging to do that because, again, when you're so conditioned by, you know, codependency and putting everyone else's needs before you, there have been so many times where not only have I put everyone else's needs before my own, but I haven't even considered my needs. It's like they didn't even exist. And it's crazy to kind of, like, reflect on it and look at it that way, because it's actually sad. It's really sad. It's sad that there were points in my life when I wasn't even aware of my needs. So if you're not aware of something, it's almost as if it doesn't exist, right? Until it comes into your awareness, like, oh, I have those things. And then it kind of just goes right over your head, and then it's like you go right back into autopilot of, but I need to do for everyone else. And then you get exhausted, and then you have no energy left to do for yourself, right? It's so interesting how all this stuff works. Um, Needs that I didn't even really take into consideration. Safety, right? And not just safety in terms of, like, like shelter and all that stuff. I'm going to call this mental shelter. Just thinking about this right now. Safety. Um when you're raised, or when you grow up, there we go. When you grow up around people that don't really take into consideration what it might feel like to hear things said to them, and they just say whatever the fuck they want to. It's very strange because I grew up around a lot of people that said whatever they wanted to me, and because of how I thought about myself and how I felt about myself, I just accepted it. But now I'm looking at it and it's like, but none of that stuff was safe. It was just me being bullied. It was just me being talked down to. And not one bit of it was safe. I didn't feel like I could be vulnerable with people. Um you need to feel like you're safe with somebody in order to actually be vulnerable with them. Um and I didn't feel that way. I felt, you know, I felt like people didn't care. But then at the same time, I never decided to change that until now because I thought that that's just the way that people were. Little did I know, that's the way that unhealthy, unsafe, and unstable people are. There are healthy, safe, and stable people out there that give a fuck how I feel. Give a fuck what my experience is like in their presence. And just deconditioning myself from the people that are unhealthy, that are unsafe and unstable, is interesting. It's very strange to like look at it and be like, I like chaos, because I don't. I don't, but I was raised in, all that stuff. Um, I don't like it. Like, whenever you look at somebody who's being, who's just invested in drama and starting drama and spreading drama and everything, you look at them and it's always strange to me because it's like, do you really want to be a part of that? They know nothing else. And until they realize how wonderful peace is and how wonderful stillness is and how much they can actually bring their energy, their attention, and their awareness back to themselves and create meaningful things for themselves, meaningful relationships, safety, health, stability, all that stuff. It's so strange to seek out chaos, to seek out drama and gossip and unpredictability. It's so strange to be attracted to that kind of stuff. It's so strange that things that aren't good for you can feel like home. It's so strange that things. I'm gonna say that again. It's so strange that things that aren't good for you can feel like home, just because it's what you were raised with. Chaos, drama, gossip, unpredictability. No healthy people. No stable people. No safe people. That's boring. That's an actual response. It's strange. But this is why we heal. This is why we step into awareness and we become aware of dynamics and we recognize what's not beneficial for us. And then we do the work to heal. Yeah.